Our News from the Hill segment tonight, FBI Director James Comey testified before the House Intelligence Committee this morning and confirmed that the FBI is looking at potential links between the Trump campaign and Russia. However, Comey did not specify the extent of the investigation or the veracity of the claims made against Trump, simply that an investigation was ongoing. When questioned by committee chairman Representative Devin Nunes, both Comey and National Security Agency Director Admiral Michael Rogers both said that no votes were changed as a result of Russian activity. Take a look.
Do you have any evidence that Russia cyber actors changed vote tallies in the state of Michigan?
No, I do not, but I would highlight we're a foreign intelligence organization, not a domestic intelligence organization. So it would be fair to say we are probably not the best organization to provide a more complete answer.
How about the state of Pennsylvania?
No, sir.
The state of Wisconsin?
No, sir.
State of Florida?
No, sir.
The state of North Carolina?
No, sir.
The state of Ohio?
No, sir.
So you have no intelligence that suggests or evidence that suggests any votes were changed?
I have nothing generated by the National Security Agency, sir.
Director Comey, do you have any evidence at the FBI that any votes were changed in the states that I mentioned to Admiral Rogers?
No.
Thank you.
With me now from the Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo. Adam, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. This has been quite the hearing today. Quite hours and hours of testimony from both of these gentlemen. This was probably, and I had to pick a few things that I thought were most significant, the revelations that were most important or most pertinent to this hearing, and this is one of them. The video that we just saw, where Admiral Rogers said that no votes were altered as a result of Russian hacking activity. I mean, that essentially, to me, Adam, puts to rest part of Democrats' arguments that the Russians impacted our election.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It very much does. And I think that most of us following this knew that those claims were spurious from the beginning. There was really no indication that Russia even has the capacity to influence election outcome. They certainly can hack us and do hack us, as we've seen, and we've seen earlier this week with the FSB officers being indicted by the Trump administration. But it was always far-fetched, I think, that Russia had somehow colluded with the Trump administration to manipulate the voting outcome. It was an outrageous claim on its face.
Right. I don't think anyone from either side of the aisle, at least anyone that I read about or heard them say it or knew or spoke to, believed that this was the case. But the other second thing, Adam, that I want to cover, and this people were reacting with outrage or with, I don't know if it was pretend shock or if they truly surprised that the FBI has an ongoing investigation into Donald Trump, into the Trump campaign, regarding collusion with Russia. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I find it interesting. I'm not as floored as many people are. I think, actually, that these ties should be investigated. I think it's very clear that if there was some sort of collusion or any sort of contact between officials, no matter how high level or low level they might have been, this should be fully investigated. However, saying that, I have not seen any hard evidence that this is the case, and I don't think they're going to find any evidence of this. In fact, and it wasn't very well reported, the Department of Justice revealed just last week that, in fact, some of these ties that they had witnessed between Trump Tower servers and Russian entities, in fact, were stooged. What that means is that there was malware on some of these computers that were mimicking contact between these entities in what looks like an attempt to put Trump in a tight position or, in fact, lead to claims that there was some sort of collusion. So, in fact, the more evidence that comes out, the more we're seeing that, in fact, these claims were either manufactured or that, like the officials said today, intelligence was released in a partial fashion, and some of that intelligence, as they said on the Hill, was quote-unquote dead wrong.
Right, and to be honest, I would have been startled or shocked more if there wasn't an investigation that was ongoing. It's something that warrants an investigation, but like you said, we have no evidence, no hard proof that there was any collusion. It's the right thing to do to investigate it, and there has been no specification by anyone involved with this investigation that they're actively investigating Donald Trump himself and not just his campaign or specific individuals within his campaign. We don't know any of that information, just for the viewers' edification here. So if anybody is claiming that they know that, they truly don't. They're misleading you. Senator Grassley, I think, had an interesting comment that he said he wished that Admiral Rogers would say the same thing to the committee and to the American people that he had told Grassley himself, and I assume that that would be clarification about whether it's Donald Trump being investigated. Adam, I want to move quickly on because there's so much that has happened in this hearing. The next bombshell was that James Comey said that there's no evidence, he knows of no evidence, to substantiate Donald Trump's tweets claiming that there was wiretapping at Trump Tower. No evidence whatsoever. What do you make of that? I mean, how is it justified what Donald Trump said? Was it just BS?
Look, it has been the case in the past that the president has been misinformed about what exactly took place, particularly on these type of national security issues. I would actually defer to one of my colleagues, Eli Lake, a good friend, who wrote a column in Bloomberg pretty much telling the reader to pay attention to the intent behind Trump's tweet and not the literal meaning of it. That is that something nefarious clearly has taken place. We've seen much evidence that the Obama administration sought to sabotage the Trump campaign and continued that effort until they left office. And there's actually a story about those details that I'm working on currently that I hope to get to everyone soon. But the wider point, I think, is what we need to be paying attention to, that in the case of Flynn, in the case of Sebastian Gorka and others in the Trump administration, there are targeted leaks of classified information and highly damaging information that is being put out in such a way as to intentionally handicap the Trump administration. And again, as they said on the Hill, and I want to emphasize this because I think it's of utmost importance, a lot of this raw intel is dead wrong, and a lot of it is released in a way that only gives you a part of the picture. That's why we have such a large intelligence apparatus. It's hard to review and make sense of this raw data. So I would urge people to pay attention to that end of it.
Right, and this was touched on at the beginning of the hearings, this unmasking, and this is referring to General Flynn's name being released in regards to his phone call with the Russian ambassador. You know, it's kind of the beginning of everything here. That was when the first report was made, and then that was when General Flynn misled Vice President Pence, or maybe he just straight up lied to him about whether or not he spoke with the Russian ambassador. That was the beginning of all this, but this line of questioning did not last very long in the hearing about what it means to unmask the name of somebody, an American person, a U.S. person they called it, who was collected incidentally while surveilling a foreign agent. That could have been the case here, but it was classified information. Somebody leaked it, and to leak that, as testified in the hearing by both Comey and Rogers, that's dangerous to our national security, and I wish that they had focused more on that. Hopefully, we'll still have more information on that to come. Adam, thanks so much for being here today. It was great to talk to you.